Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep them out your face, no way.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Nisi Lexi. I'm a content creator, digital marketer, as well as a blogger. Welcome to my live video here in YouTube as well as Facebook Live. So today I am doing my Boss Up Girls Talk edition, which is basically called the Boss Up with Me Girls Talk. And we are covering basically how to register your business. Obviously, for those who are thinking of becoming their own CEO, their own boss up ladies, boss men, or whatever have you, you might be thinking of registering your business and you wanted to know how to register business. This information is basically based on people that actually either live in Canada or Ontario specifically. So what are some things that you can also utilize? And I believe majority of this information is very common for other countries as well. So you can also kind of like utilize that information and go about registering your business. When basically you're trying to register a business or register a company, there's a lot of information that you need to take into considerations. And some concept has to be legal work, other has to be protecting your asset, protecting your names and things of that nature. And you would need to be doing obviously your homework and making sure that these stuff are in place before going ahead. And I am live, so make sure that you comment below and then I'll be able to answer some of your questions, and I will basically dive in deeper and talking about how you can also optimize this as well. All right, so you are watching Nisi Live, and we are talking basically about Boss Up with Me Girls Talk Edition on how to register your business. Basically, what it takes for you to be able to consider yourself a business owner or a boss. So the essential thing you would be needing, obviously, is basically doing a name search. The first thing before registering any brand, before registering any company, you want to make sure that that name is available to you. So legally, you have to own the name, which means if you are basically trying to have a unique name, let's say for example Nisi Lexi or Lexina River, all of these names I have to do a name search beforehand. And if you're in Canada, you can definitely just kind of go do your name search through the engine of the government's website, and I believe you will pay about $60 to do that name search, and that name search will be able to determine whether somebody already have the name or not. And if somebody have the name that you're using, there's two ways to go about it. Either A, you can modify the spelling of that name and then kind of add another context to it, and then you can still utilize the new name. And obviously the name, the way how it is spelled might be a little bit different than the other person. Or you can simply just kind of, use a different name. So what happened mostly that you might think of a cool name and you like, you know what, this is the business name that I'm going to go with, and I'm going to also register it. But then when you Google it, somebody already have that name. Either A, they have all the social media handle under that name, or B, they already have a website under that name. So that is why it's very important for you to start doing your research before you claim that name. So whatever name you might think about, maybe let's say if you want to do lashes for women and you want to call it like Nisi Lexi Lashes or something like that, you can go ahead and Google and search that particular name and make sure that nobody owns it. You Google if do they have a website with that name? Do they have a social media handle with that name? Do they already have a registered business ID with that name? If so, then you would need to let go of that name, because legally, if you decided to go ahead and actually utilize that name, somebody can actually sue you for it and can actually be a very big legal actions towards you. So that way you need to avoid all of those. You don't want to create a brand and then 5 years down the line when it becomes so big and it becomes well known, that name is already taken. So that's why it's very important for you to do that legal stuff beforehand, and also do your research and making sure that the name is available to you for you to use. And the second thing you could do, you can also speak to a lawyer and figure out if that lawyer can actually support you securing that name. And once you secure the name, you register the name, there are 4 different options on to how you can go about registering your business name. Obviously, if you live in Canada, you are going to be having different form of naming. So you would either do either solo proprietorships, or you can do the partnerships, you could do corporations, or you could do cooperative. So the first one, the solo, is basically you own it. And the thing about having as your business as a solo proprietorship is that if case of anything happened to your business, if your business went down, then obviously you are going down with that business, because everything is basically, even your tax when you're filing it as an individual. And if your company went bankrupt or there's somebody suing your company, then everything comes out of your pocket and out of your liability. Can also be your home is going to be in line, your assets are going to be in line. That's why it's very risky for you to go about that first options. And that is why most people decided to either A, go with the corporate LLC, which is the corporations. That means when if anything happened to your business as a corporation, then your personal asset is not going to be impacted by it. And that is why it's basically safer for you, especially if you're considering doing your brand to be a very big brand in the future. And that way you want to protect your personal asset as opposed from your business asset. You will go with the corporation registration. If you go with a partnership, let's say you have a very cool friend or family member that are basically trying to do a business with you. This is basically where you guys both are going to register as a partnership. And through that partnership, you have to make sure that, you guys have papers and documents and contracts in place. Don't get into business with anybody without having anything written, because let's say the business become very successful or the business flop, and now one person decided, you know what, hey, I became successful, I have all the money I need, I'm out, I don't need to work with you anymore, I'm going to find some other passion with my life, I want to carry on. And now you're stuck. So this is basically where you have to make sure that when you're getting into partnership with business with anybody, you have to make sure that you are most likely having a contract in place to be able to state it from the beginning before even getting together. What happens when X, Y, and Z happen to the business? Do we split the money 50-50? Do we split 50-40? And how much percentage is that other person bringing to the business? Then if the person is bringing 10% and you're bringing 90%, that means if the business gets succeeded and the person decided to leave, then they can leave with that 10% that they put in the initial agreement for the beginning. That's why it's very important for you as a partnership to establish all these contracts beforehand before getting into any business. This is similar when you also, as a musician, if you're trying to do a record label or you're trying to enter into a business, you have to know what is the document saying before actually signing that document, because that is document is your legal right, and basically understanding beforehand what you're getting yourself into, so in case anything happened, so that way you're protected. And if you need a lawyer to kind of back you up, the lawyer will be able to read the fine print, to read the agreement that you guys established before registering together. Cooperative, this is usual also for big brands, like for example, you will see those of Google, those of Facebook, they all kind of register as a cooperative because it's a large company that is owned by multiple shares, multiple shareholders, and things of that nature. So it'll be great for you to be able to go with that route if you're thinking of going global. Shout out to you, Johnson, as well as Wawa, for tuning in. I am live, so I do see the comments that you guys are dropping here. So thank you guys for the love. So we are obviously talking about how to register your business and what are things that you would need in order for you to be able to have a successful business. Hey, CD, I see you. All right, so basically these are some other things that you guys need to be able to take into considerations when you guys are trying to register your business. The other thing that you do, as I mentioned about conducting name search, making sure the name is available, and also creating your cover letter and having all your social media handle registered under that particular name. Other thing what you could do is obviously getting a lawyer, and then once the lawyer you have it, you can register the brand and making sure that everything is aligned, and then you can then by all means own that name. Now you have contracts in place, you have the name legally registers, and then you can also consider going into trading marking that name, so that way nobody else can use that name in the future, and you will protect your name identity and anything copyrights related to the name. Especially with music, make sure it's all copyrighted. And if it's a branded things, you can trademark the name, so making sure that you own everything that is underneath that brand name and trademark, so that way when you're running an ad or somebody else is trying to replicate your product or trying to do a lot of counterfeit against your product, you are protected because your name has a trademark. So this is basically some little negative knowledge that I wanted to share with you guys here, in case you're considering on registering your brand and you wanted to have your own business. I will see you guys next time as I mentioned, every Fridays, Thursdays, and Sundays, I do drop a lot of knowledge and content here. And I also do interview entrepreneurs from around the globe on Thursdays. You guys can stay tuned and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel at nisilexi.com, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye. Have a great day. Take care, guys. And for those who are watching live, thank you for tuning in. And I will see you guys in the next episode.
I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic. Got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play